Well, I've got the intermittent flashing airbag light. I have no cruise control, and I don't think the lights on here work anymore either. So, time to replace the clock spring. Chinesium Dorman should work just fine. Batteries have been disconnected all day, so we're going to get into this, swap that out. Hopefully it works, hopefully it fits. I can move on with my life with cruise control. Well, I'd say I'm about halfway through the job. It's not hard. There isn't really all that much to it. I think the hardest part about the whole thing is under here. You've got this plastic retaining clip right here. There's a wire goes through, like so. It goes all the way down here, and it plugs into there and there. Undo those plugs. Put your new plugs from your new clock spring into there. Route it back through your clippies. Put it back up here. It clicks in. One thing that may or may not catch me is the original spacer for the clock spring that was in there beforehand actually snapped right off the back of it. There used to be a clip right here, I guess. And it comes off, but this one has its own spacer, so should be fine. They're about the same. They look like they're the same depth, so I'm sure we'll be just fine. If we're not, we're gonna, well, find out pretty quick. This one actually just kind of sprung apart on me as soon as I pulled the steering wheel off. It just kind of blew up. There is a little detail here that goes in there, and that just fell right out. There wasn't anything holding that in place. So if this clock spring wasn't the problem, it certainly was a problem. So I'll just finish routing all this, put it all back together, and go from there. All right, we've got the Dorman Chinesium clock spring installed. We've got our wires routed appropriately and all clipped back into place. Ignore the aftermarketness over here. This was here before I got here. Next up is the rest of reinstallation. Just over here, there was supposed to be a clip right here that held this in place. Mine broke off and it just fell off, but this is on there nice and tight. And most of the clips that hold this on were also broken on mine, and the whole thing just kind of blew apart on me. So let's put the rest back together and see what happens. Well, it's all back together again. Nothing really spectacular to speak of for the whole process. Just take your time and line stuff up, and if you got to force it hard, it's probably not in right. Everything fit like it's supposed to, which apparently is abnormal for Dorman products. However, my oil cooler is also a Dorman product, and it works just fine. Well, sorry, not the cooler, the seals for it are just fine. And I've gone through two of them, and the first failure was not the product's fault. That's a different story. So let's rehook up the batteries and see what we get. Well, so far so good. We have no lights on the dash. The airbag did not blow up on me. Truck started up. No check engine lights. We should be good to go. I'll take it for a bit of a drive. Make sure the light don't come back, but I think we're going to be good to go. If it comes back, well, we'll figure out why. And just for fun, for the aftermath, do the scan. No code stored, which is great. I used to have the airbag code as well as a key and ignition fault code and one other code, and they're all cleared, so we're good. So I suppose the next logical question, why did it break? So here's our old one. which came totally unraveled when I took the steering wheel off. I'm just going through the cable here to see if there's any breaks, kinks, cracks. A lot of white dust. It's a pretty heavy kink right here. Suppose that could have been it. Nothing obvious in here. I suppose I could just run a continuity test really between the 2 points and see what happened. Might not have even been this cable, it might have actually been one of these wires. Well, those all look fine. These all look fine. I don't know. Maybe the problem will come back. But I don't really see any smoking gun here. Really. Unless it's inside all this, like maybe this pinch point here. You can't get to because there's stuff in the way, but there might be something there. I don't know. Oh, what's this? See a bit of a spot right there. So maybe it's just somewhere in this connector. I don't know. I guess time will tell. Unless I want to really just take it apart and find out. Could also be anywhere in here too, right? All this white dust. Pretty interesting. It looks like this just unclips here and here. And then that whole connector comes out. Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm fairly certain, yeah, this is a Ford, original Ford one. So this has probably been in here since the truck was built back in 2001. Well, I'm not going to go through and test all these wires. All the codes went away. Maybe if I get bored one day, I'll check it again. But it's good to go.